Hello, good day viewers. Here is Waec 2023 Mathematics Examination Objective Questions. And we have question 1 down to 50. You can clearly see them here. Question 1, we are asked to evaluate 4.314 multiplied by 0.000056 divided by 0.0067 to what? 3 decimal places. And you can see the second question is a question involving what? A set. We have exponential equation here and we have Sodic equation here. So in case you want to skip anyone, let's get started. All right, here is question 1. We are asked to evaluate the whole of this. Since there is no any instruction given, you can use your calculator. Press everything. After pressing this multiplied by this, divide by this, write down the result. The result we have is 0.0360573 and so on. But the question stated that we should write this in 3 decimal places. So 3 decimal places, we have 1, 2, 3. So our answer will be what? 0.036, which is what? Option B. All right, let's move on to question number 2. All right, here is question number 2. The question reads, there are 30 students in a class. 15 of them study woodwork and 13 of them studied what? Metalwork. 6 out of these 30 students, there are particular 6 students that studied neither of the 2 subjects. We are asked to find the number of students that studied woodwork but not metalwork. I think the best way to solve this problem is to draw a Venn diagram. So suppose we have a Venn diagram like this. We have those that studied woodwork and those that studied metalwork. So this is woodwork, this is metalwork. And there are certain students that studied both metalwork and woodwork. They should be here. Since they are not given, we can declare them with X. So let's go back to the question. 15 studied woodwork. If 15 studied woodwork, we can write 15 minus X as the number of students that studied only woodwork, right? Then we have 13 students that studied metalwork. So here we have 13 minus X as the number of students that studied only metalwork. Because if you include this, we have some certain number of students that studied both metalwork and woodwork. Then we have 6 students that studied neither. So you bring them here. They are not part of any of the 2 sets. And the universal set, which is the number of students, is 30, right? So what are we looking for? We are looking for the number of students that studied woodwork but not metalwork. They are exactly here. So we're going to find the value of X, then substitute it here to find woodwork but not metalwork. And you should know that if you add all the information here, you must get 30. So we have 15 minus X, right? Then plus X, plus 13 minus X, finally plus 6. The whole of this must be 30. Let us add the numbers first. We have 15, 13 making 28, plus 6, that is 34. And this and this will give us 0. We have only minus X. This is what? 30. So you make X the subject, X equal to 34 minus 30, and X is equal to 4. Having obtained the value of X equal to 4, we can directly substitute it here, 15 minus X. Therefore, the number of students that studied woodwork but not metalwork (15 minus X), which is equivalent to what? 15 minus 4, because X is 4, and this will give us what? 11 students. Let's check the option. We have option C. Now let us move on to question number 3. All right, here is question number 3. We are asked to solve this exponential equation. The equation is 2 raised to the power of 5x divided by 2 raised to the power of x equal to the fifth root of 2 raised to the power of 10, which can be written as 2 raised to the power of 10 divided by 5. Because you should know that if you have nth root of a, this is the same thing as a raised to the power of 1 divided by n. So this is the same law I applied here. And 10 divided by 5 is 2, and we can apply one of the laws of indices here. We take a base. Since we are dividing, we subtract the exponents. 5x minus x equal to 2 to the power of 2. This is 2 to the power of 4x equal to 2 to the power of 2. Since the bases are the same, we equate the exponents. And if you divide both sides by 4, you have x equal to 2 divided by 4, which is to the lowest term as what? 1 divided by 2. And 1 divided by 2 is the solution to this problem, which is what? Option C. Now let us take question number 4. All right, here is question number 4, which is a sodic equation. We are asked to solve the equation 1 plus the cube root of x minus 3 equal to 4. Let us take this 1 to the other side, leaving only the cube root of x minus 3. And this is equal to what? 4 minus 1. Cube root of x minus 3 will now be equal to what? 3. And to get rid of the cube root, we can cube both sides, so that this will cancel this, leaving only x minus 3 equal to 27, because 3 to the power of 3 is 27. You take negative 3 to the other side, it becomes positive, which is x equal to 27 plus 3 equal to 30. And hence 30 is the solution to this problem, which is option C. All right, here is question number 5. We are asked to express 413 in base 7 down to a number in base 5. So since you are dealing with objective questions, if your calculator can convert between number bases, please just go ahead and do that. But in case you don't have such option, let me show you how to do that. First of all, you have to take this number, which is in base 7, convert it to base 10. So we have 413 in base 7. To convert it to base 10, you take 4, which is the first digit. You multiply by 7, which is the base. You add, you take 1, which is the second digit, multiply by 7 again, which is the base. Then lastly, the last digit, which is 3, multiply by the base. Then you assign index from 0, that is from the last number, 1, 2, like this. Now let us simplify. From here you can see 7 squared is 49, and 49 times 4 will give us 196. 196 plus 7 to the power of 1 is 7 times 1 is 7, plus 7 to the power of 0 is 1, and 1 times 3 is 3. You can see that 7 plus 3 is 10, and if you add 10 to this number, you're going to obtain 206. And hence, 413 in base 7 is equal to 206, or 206 in base 10. So this is the number we are going to convert to base 5. And how can we do that? We are going to perform a successive division of this number, 206, by what? 5, since we are converting down to 5. So if you take the whole of this and divide by 5, you are going to obtain 41 with a remainder of 1. Then 5 again can divide this how many times? 8 times with a remainder of 1, because 5 can divide 40. Then 5 can divide 8 one time with a remainder of 3, right? But now 5 cannot divide 1. So we stop here and take these numbers from this down to this. Therefore, 413 in base 7 is equal to, you start with this number, which is 1, then 3, then 1, 1 in base 5. So we have 1311 in base 5. Let's check the option. You can see it is option what? B. Now let us move on to question number 6. All right, here is question number 6, though it is not cleared, but let me rewrite it. We have log of x base 3 plus log of x minus 8 base 3, the whole of this equal to 2. This is exactly what we have. And we're asked to solve the equation. What you should remember is that the arguments must be greater than 0, which means that x must be greater than 8. So if you are dealing with objectives, you know that definitely the answer must be 9, because from the domain, x must be greater than 8. But let us just solve it. Since we have common logs, we take a log to base 3, then we multiply the argument. Since we have addition, we have x multiplied by x minus 8, the whole of this equal to 2. And from definition, if you take this 3, you raise it on to 2, you must get the argument. Therefore, let us expand this. X times x is x squared minus 8 times x is x, and this is equal to 3 to the power of 2, which is 9. And hence this is x squared minus 8x minus 9 if you take it to the other side, and this is equal to 0. This is a quadratic equation that can be factorized. Let us think of two numbers. We can multiply to get 9. When we add them, we get negative 8. You should know that the numbers must be negative 9 and positive 1. Negative 9, positive 1. If you set each factor to be equal to 0, we have this either equal to 0 or x plus 1 equal to 0. From here, x equal to 9 or x equal to negative 1. But remember, x must be greater than 8. And hence, we are going to consider x equal to 9 as our solution. But remember, I told you, once you look at the domain, since this must be greater than 0, x must be greater than 0. But from here, if x minus 8 is greater than 0, definitely x must be greater than 8. And the only number that is greater than 8 here is 9. So without solving, since you're dealing with objectives, nobody will ask you to show working. You can simply tick 9. Now let us move on to question number 7. All right, here is question number 7. The question reads, Mr. Manu is 4 times as old as his son, Adu. 7 years ago, the sum of their ages was 76 years. How old is Adu, which is the son? Okay, I would like to declare the son's age, the current age as what? X. So let Adu's age be X. Therefore, the father, who is what? Manu, will be what? X times 4, which is 4x, because they said what? He's 4 times as old as the son. And 7 years back, meaning we are going to subtract 7 from each age here. The sum of the ages was what? 76. So what are we going to do? 7 years back, the sum will be what? X minus 7. Plus, because we are taking sum, the father's age is 4 times the son, but we have to subtract 7 as well, 7 years back. And we have the result to be what? 76. So let's add this together. We have x and 4x making 5x's, and this will give us negative 14. This is equal to 76. Let us take this one to the other side. We have 5x equal to 76 plus 14 as it crosses over. And this is 90. This is 5x equal to 90. And x equal to 90 divided by 5, which is 18. X equal to 18. But what is this x? Remember, x is what? The age of the son. And that's exactly what we are looking for, which is what? Option C. Now let us move on to question number 8. Question 8, we are asked to factorize completely. Let me remind you something. This is very simple. Difference of two squares. If you have a squared minus b squared, this is the same thing as a plus b multiplied by a minus b. So since we are given something of this kind where our a is x and b is y plus z, to factorize it, let me bring it down here. We have x squared minus y plus z whole squared. By applying the same principle, we take x, we add it to y plus z, right? We multiply, we take x again, we subtract. And if you're subtracting, the negative sign will affect all the two times. So we have minus y minus z. And there's nothing we can do to this expression again. So what is the right option? X plus y plus z times x minus y minus z, which is option B right here. So the last question for today is question number 9. All right, question number 9. We are asked to find the roots of the quadratic equation 3m squared minus 2m minus 65. We can solve this equation by factorization. First of all, you take the leading coefficient, you multiply by the constant term. So let me write the numbers here. 3 multiplied by negative 65, and this will give us what? Negative 195. Now think of two numbers you can multiply together to get this number, but when you add them together you get negative 2. And the numbers are definitely negative 15 and positive 13. These two numbers, if you multiply them together, you're going to obtain negative 195, and when you add them together you get negative 2. So how should we factorize this? We take m, we minus 15, but since the leading coefficient is not 1, you divide by 3. Then the next number, m plus 13, you also divide by that number 3. You set the whole of this equal to 0, which implies that either m minus 5, right, equal to 0, because 15 divided by 3 is 5, or m plus 13 divided by 3 equal to 0. So m here could either be positive 5 if this crosses over, or m equal to negative 13 divided by 3 if positive 13 divided by 3 crosses over. So where is the right answer? M is 5 and negative 13 divided by 3, which is option C. All right, here is question number 10. The question reads, m varies jointly as the square of n and the square root of q if m is equal to 24 when n is equal to 2 and q equal to 4. We're asked to find m when n is equal to 5 and q equal to 9. So now let us establish a relationship between m, q, and n. All right, it's stated that m varies jointly with what? Square of n. So we have n squared multiplied by square root of q. Square root of q. So to transform it into an equation, you have to introduce a constant. So m is now equal to a certain constant k multiplied by n squared multiplied by square root of q. And we have to find this constant. So k is now equal to m divided by n squared multiplied by square root of q. So to find this k, we are going to substitute the first statement given to us. We have m to be equal to 24, n equal to 2, and q equal to 4. So therefore k is now equal to 24 divided by n to the power of 2, which is 2 to the power of 2, multiplied by square root of 4. This is equal to 24 to the top. To the bottom we have 2 squared is 4 multiplied by square root of 4 is 2. So you can see to the bottom we have 4 times 2, which is 8, and 24 divided by 8 is equal to 3, and hence k is equal to 3. Therefore, we can substitute the value of k back into this given equation. And hence, therefore, m is equal to k multiplied by n squared. Okay, let me just substitute directly. We have 3n squared multiplied by square root of q. So this is the equation connecting m, n, and q. But we are asked to find m when n is 5 and q is 9. So we are going to substitute n equal to 5 and q equal to 9 in order to find the value of m. So let me write it here. When n is equal to 5, q equal to 9, and we are looking for m, we have m to be equal to 3 multiplied by 5 squared multiplied by square root of 9. This is equal to 3 multiplied by 25 multiplied by 3. Altogether, we have 225. And hence, the value of m is equal to 225. Let us check it. You can see that as option D. Now, let us move on to question number 11. All right, here is question number 11. We are given that if the ratio of m to n is equal to 2 1 over 3 to 1 1 over 5, and the ratio of n to q is 1 1 over 2 to 1 1 over 3, we asked to find the ratio of q to m. I'm going to present you two different methods. Let's start with the first one. You know, a ratio can also be expressed in terms of division, so we can write m divided by n to be equal to, what is this? Let us transform it into an improper fraction. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. Divide by 3. We equally divided by this, which is 5 times 1 is 5 plus 1 is 6. Divide by 5. Now we can transform this into 7 divided by 3 multiplied by 5 divided by 6. If you simplify to the top, you have 7 times 5 is 35. Divide by 3 times 6 is 18. Let us keep this one aside. Then secondly, we're going to take n to q. So n divided by q will be equal to 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3. So we have 3 divided by 2. 3 divided by 2. Divide by the other number, which is q. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1 is 4. So we have 4 over 3. 4 over 3. If we simplify this, we have 3 divided by 2. You change this to multiplication and take reciprocal. We have 3 divided by 4. If you simplify this, you have 9 divided by 8. All right, remember what we are looking for. We are looking for a ratio q to m. Q to m can be obtained by taking q divided by n, then you multiply it by n divided by m. This will give us what? Q divided by m, which is what? Q to m, because n will cancel n, right? But what are these? We have n divided by q, but this is q divided by n. All we have to do is to take reciprocals. Instead of 9 divided by 8, we are going to take it as 8 divided by 9. Multiply by n divided by m. We have m divided by n, not n divided by m. We're equally going to take reciprocal. Instead of 35 divided by 18, we're going to take it as 18 divided by 35. For cancellation, you can see that 9 into 9 is 1, and 9 into 18 is 2. So we have to the top as 8 times 2 is 16. So we have 16 divided by 35, which is what? Q divided by m. And if we write it in ratio as q to m, this will be 16 to 35. Which option is this? 16 to 35 is option A. Well, let me show you a very simple way to do that. All right, let me show you the simplest way to do that. You see, we have m to n, and we equally given n to q. So I can bring my n here, then q here. Now let us substitute the values. The values will be, for m, we have this, which is 3 times 2, 6 plus 1, 7. We have 7 divided by 3 to what? N, and n is this one, which is 5 times 1 plus 1 is 6 divided by 5. Then I will bring n here, the second n, which is this one. We have it as 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3 divided by 2. So I will write it here, 3 divided by 2 to what? Q. which is 3 times 1 plus 1 is 4 divided by 3. So our main goal is to make these middle values exactly the same. Once we do that, we can relate this one and this one. So let me start by doing something nice. The LCM between 3 and 5 is 15. So let us multiply this and this by 15. If you multiply this by 15, 3 will divide 15 5 times, and 5 times 7 is 35. To what? Multiply this by 15, you have 5 into 15 is 3, and 3 times 6 is 18. Then you come down to the other ratio. The LCM between 2 and 3 is 6. 2 divides 6 is 3, and 3 times 3 is 9. 3 divides 6 is 2, and 2 times 4 is 8. How can we make the middle numbers the same? By multiplying this by 2, right? Well, you have to multiply the two values by 2. So we have 35 to 18. Then 9 times 2 is 18. Likewise, 8 times 2 is 16. Remember that this is what? M, and this is Q. So we are looking for ratio of Q to M, which is equivalent to 16 to 35, which is option A, right? Now let us take question number 12. All right, here is question number 12. The question reads, 1/3 the sum of two numbers is 12. Thrice their difference is 12. Find the numbers. So I would like to declare the numbers with X and Y. So let the numbers be X and Y. And because one number is greater than other, I would like to let X to be greater than Y. So the first statement stated that 1/3 of their sum, 1/3 of their sum, X plus Y, they say is equal to 12. Then the second statement stated that thrice, 3 times their difference. So I have 3 times their difference, X minus Y, since X is greater than Y. They say this is also equal to 12. So I can transform this into something new. If you multiply the whole of this equation by 3, you have X plus Y equal to 3 times 12 is 36. Then from this other one, if you divide both sides by 3, you have X minus Y equal to 4. So now let us add the two equations together. To the left hand side, X plus X is 2X. Y plus negative Y is 0. So to the other side, we have 40. Divide both sides by 2, you have X to be equal to 20. And how can we find the other value, which is Y? We can plug in X equal to 20 here. We are dealing with objectives. This is why I'm doing rough work. So 20 minus Y is equal to 4. Therefore, 20 minus 4 is equal to Y, and Y finally equal to 16. So you can see that X is equal to what? 20, while Y is equal to 16. So the two values are 20 and 16. Let us find out. 20 and 16, which is option B. Then moving on to question number 13. All right, here is question number 13. We're asked to find the quadratic equation whose roots are given as 2 over 3 and negative 3 divided by 4. And you can see the quadratic equation is written in terms of Y. Since these are roots, we can convert them into factors. So to transform this into a factor, what does this mean? It means Y is either equal to 2 over 3 or Y equal to negative 3 divided by 4. These are the two roots given to us. So to transform them into factors, if you take this one in, it becomes negative, right? We have Y minus 2 over 3 equal to 0. And here we have Y plus 3 divided by 4 equal to 0. So if you take these two factors and multiply them together, you are going to obtain that quadratic equation. So we have Y minus 2 over 3 multiplied by Y plus 3 divided by 4. This is equal to 0. By distribution, we have Y multiplied by the whole of Y plus 3 divided by 4. Then we take negative 2 over 3. We also distribute into the second bracket. Then we simplify and get our quadratic equation. This time this is y squared, so we have y squared. This time that we have 3y divided by 4. Then move into the other bracket, minus 2y divided by 3, minus, if you multiply 2 by 3 you have 6, 3 by 4 you have 12, and the LCM between all of these numbers is 12, so we can multiply every single number by 12. So y squared times 12 is 12y squared, plus the whole of this times 12. 4 will divide 12 3 times, and 3 times 3y is 9y, minus this times 12. 3 will divide 12 4 times, and 4 times 2 is 8y, then minus 6, because 12 will divide 12. The whole of this equal to 0. The only terms we need to simplify are the middle terms. 9y minus 8y is just single y. Finally, we have 12y squared plus y minus 6 equal to 0. This is the quadratic equation. 12y squared plus y minus 6, which is option C. Now let us move on to question number 14. All right, here is question number 14. We are asked to make x the subject of the relation y equal to ax cubed minus b divided by 3z. Let me rewrite it here. We have y equal to ax cubed minus b divided by 3z. We're asked to make x the subject. Let us cross multiply. Y times 3z will give us 3yz equal to ax cubed minus b. Then you take b to the other side. It is negative here. To the other side, it will transform to positive. This is 3yz plus b equal to ax cubed. Our main goal is on x, so we can divide both sides by a, and hence x cubed is equal to 3yz plus b divided by a. And finally, take cube root of both sides. You have x to be equal to the cube root of 3yz plus b divided by a. And this is our final answer. Cube root of 3yz plus b divided by a. Do we have it? Cube root of 3yz plus b divided by a, which is option B. So now let us move on to the last question, which is question number 15 for today. All right, here is question number 15. The question reads, the price of a shoe was decreased by 22%. If the new price was $27.3, we asked to find the original price. Okay, let us find it. Let the original price be X. So the price was depreciated by 22%. It means that the original price, if you take away 22% of the total price, which is X, you're going to get the new price, which is 27.3. 27.3. We can write X as 100X divided by 100. It doesn't matter. This is the same thing as X. Minus 22% of X is the same thing as 22 times X divided by 100. And the whole of this is what? 27.3. Our main goal is to find the value of X. To the top, you can see that 100 minus 22 is equal to 78. So we have 78X divided by 100. And this is equal to 27.3. If you multiply both sides by 100, you have 78x to be equal to 2730. And finally, we divide both sides by 78. 2730 divided by 78. And this is finally equal to 35. And remember that this is the original price before it was depreciated. 35, which is option D. All right, here is question number 16. The question reads, the radius and the height of a solid cylinder are 8 centimeter and 14 centimeter respectively. Find corrected 2 decimal places the surface area of that cylinder, taking pi as 22 divided by 7. We have available options. So first of all, what will be the formula? The formula will be A equal to 2 pi RH plus 2 pi R squared. This is the formula for calculating the total surface area of a cylinder. This stands for the curved surface area, and this is what the two surface area at the top and the bottom. You know, the top of a cylinder is a cycle, and area of a cycle is pi r squared, and we have another cycle at the bottom, making 2 of those cycles. What I mean is this: if you have a cylinder like this is the curved surface area, which is 2 pi RH, and we have a cycle to the top, which is pi r squared, another cycle to the bottom, pi r squared, making 2 pi r squared. So let us substitute everything here. We have this to be equal to 2 multiplied by 22 divided by 7, because that's what they say we should use as our pi. And we have radius as 8 multiplied by 8, then multiplied by h, which is 14. Then the whole of this, we should add it to 2 multiplied by 22 divided by 7, multiplied by radius is 8 times 8, because 8 squared is 8 times 8. So let us simplify. 2 times 22 times 8 times 14 divide by 7. I have 704 here, plus the other side I have 2 times 22 times 8 times 8. What I have divided by 7 is 402.29, two decimal places. Then we are going to add these two numbers together. If you add them together, you're going to obtain 1106.29. This is what I have, centimeter squared. This is the area. So 1106.29. Do we have it here? Yes, 1106.29 is option C. Now let us move on to question number 17. All right, here is question number 17. We are given a diagram here, and this is the description. The description reads, in the diagram, O here is the center of the cycle NST. NT, let us locate it. You can see NT here is equal to ST. Where is ST? This is ST, meaning that this triangle is an isosceles triangle, right? And NTS is equal to 36 degrees. NTS, this is 36 degrees. Find the measure of the angle marked T. This is the angle marked T. You don't have to stress yourself. This angle T is equal to 36 degrees. Let me mark it first before I tell you why. If you observe, this is a tangent to the cycle, right? And this is a segment. This is a chord again. So the angle formed by that chord and the tangent line outside, which is T, is exactly equal to the angle subtended by that chord. Which theorem is this? Alternate segment theorem. This angle and this angle are what? On the alternate segments, and they are always equal. And I think I have provided a video on that, on how to prove it. So the right answer is 36. You don't even have to solve anything. Alternate angles, alternate segment angles are all equal. Let us move on to question number 18. All right, here is question number 18. The question reads, a sphere has radius 3 centimeter. Find in terms of pi its volume. And what is the formula for volume of a sphere? V equal to 4 over 3 pi r to the third power. So the only thing we need to substitute here is the radius, and it is given as 3 cm. So this is equal to 4 over 3 pi r. Okay, r is 3. So we can write it as 3 times 3 times 3, because 3 to the power of 3 is 3 times 3 times 3, right? And this 3 will cancel one of the 3's. What do we have left? we have 4 times 3, which is 12. And what is 12 times 3? 12 times 3 is 36. So we have 36 pi. 36 pi. Remember the unit? cm cubed. And this is the volume in terms of pi. 36 pi. Do we have it here? Yes. Option C. Question number 19. All right, here is question number 19. We are asked to arrange the following numbers in ascending order of magnitude, meaning we should arrange them from the smallest to the largest. We have 3 numbers: 110 in base 2, 31 in base 8, 42 in base 5. So since you are dealing with objective questions, if your calculator is able to convert between different bases, you can do that. Otherwise, let me show you how to do that. Let us convert all of these 3 numbers into base 10. And notice the greatest one or the least one. Let me start with 110 in base 2. This is equal to, you take the first digit, which is 1, you multiply by the 2, which is the base, you add. Second digit multiplied by the base. Third digit multiplied by the base. Then you assign index from the last digit 2. You start with 0, 1, and 2. You stop. And you simplify. Let's start here. 2 to the power of 2 is 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 to the power of 1 is 2 times 1 is 2, plus 2 to the power of 0 is 1 times 0 is 0. If you add all of this together, you have 6 in base 10. So what about the second digit, which is 31 in base 8? 31 in base 8, this is equal to 3 multiplied by 8 plus 1 multiplied by 8. We have 0, we have 1. If you simplify from here, 8 to the power of 1 is 8 times 3 is 24, plus 8 to the power of 0 is 1 times 1 is 1, and this is 25, right? Therefore, 31 in base 8 is equal to 25 in base 10. And the last digit, or the last number here, which is 42 in base 5, 42 in base 5, we have 4 times 5 plus 2 times 5, we have 0 and 1. Simplify. 5 to the power of 1 is 5 times 4 is 20, plus 5 to the power of 0 is 1 times 2 is 2, and this is 22. And hence, 42 in base 5 is equal to 22 in base 10. So the question is, which one is the smallest number here? We have 22, we have 25, and we have 6. And hence, 6 is the smallest number, and they say we should arrange it in ascending order. We are going to begin with the smallest one. Therefore, 110 in base 2 is the smallest. 110 in base 2, then comma. The next one, which is smaller, we have 22, which is equivalent to 42 in base 5. Then the last one is 31 in base 8, 31 base 8. And hence, this is the solution to this problem. 110, 42, and 31. 110, 42, and 31, which is option B. So now let us take the last question for today, which is question number 20. All right, here is question number 20, which is related to percentage error. The question reads, a notebook of length 15 centimeters was measured by a student as 16.8, meaning the student has increased the length of the book. We're asked to calculate corrected 2 decimal places the percentage error in the measurement. Okay, the formula is what? Absolute major divided by the actual major multiplied by 100%. Absolute major, it means what? We should take the differences between the measurement. So I will take 16.8 minus actual major, which is 15, divided by the actual major multiplied by 100%. So if you subtract to the top, you have 1.8 divided by 15 multiplied by 100%. So what do we do first? We can either divide before we multiply or multiply before we divide. Let me take my calculator, simplify 1.8 divided by 15 before I multiply by 100. I will do that directly. So 1.8 divided by 15, which is 0.12. I will multiply that by 100 to get 12. So this is 12%. The increase is what? 12%. Do we have it as option A? All right, here is question number 21. We are asked to find the value of m in the diagram above. M is an angle, you can see it right here. And we are given another angle which is 40 degrees here. And you should observe that this leg and this leg are parallel to each other because you can see the two marks which indicates the two lines are parallel. Okay, since these two legs are parallel, we can extend this one right here. Let us extend it to the right hand side. So we have something like this. And also, since these two lines are parallel, we can connect a transversal line. This is a transversal line, we can extend it. So now let us do that. So we have a transversal line. And observe that this is a right angle, which is 90 degrees, an angle on a straight line equal to 180. Hence, this will be 90 as well. And since this line and this line are parallel, and this angle is equal to 40 degrees, this angle right here must be 40. Why? Because we have a transversal line that connects the two parallel lines, and this angle are said to be alternate to each other, and alternate angles are equal. Remember, the sum of all angles in a triangle equal to 180. So this particular triangle, we have 90, we have 40. What do we have left? 50. Hence, this angle right here must be 50 degrees. We're almost done. Angle on a straight line equal to 180. So we can connect these 2 points or 2 angles together to get 180. And if the other one is 50, M must be 130. Hence, the right option is B. All right, here is question number 22. The question reads, a line L passing through the point 6, -13 is parallel to the line which passes through the 2 points. You can see them here, 7,4 and -3,9. We are asked to find the equation of that line L, the initial line that passes through this point. So now let us write the equation of this line in point slope form, which is y minus y1 equal to mx minus x1. And since this line passes through this point, you know 6 stands for x coordinate and -13 stands for y coordinate. And hence, we can say that our x1 is equal to 6 from that point, and y1 equal to -13. So we can plug them back here. We have y minus y1, which is -13, equal to x minus x1, which is 6. So the only thing we need to find here is m. All right, we can find it here because they say the two lines are parallel, and when two lines are parallel, they will have equal slope. So to find the slope here, let me do the work in here. M equal to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Let's plug everything here from these 2 points. You can start from either point. Let me start from the left hand side. This is y2 minus y1, that is 4 minus 9 divided by 7 minus -3, and you know minus minus is plus, so we have 7 plus 3. If you simplify this to the top, you have 4 minus 9, which is -5. To the bottom, you have 10. To the lowest term, you have -1 divided by 2. And hence, the slope is what? -1 divided by 2. All we have to do is to bring it back here. So we have y plus 13, because minus minus is plus, equal to -1 divided by 2 multiplied by x minus 6. Simplify and get the equation. So this is y plus 13 equal to, let us expand this, -1 over 2 times x is -1 over 2x. Negative is positive. Half of 6 is 3. Finally, we can take this one to the other side. We have y equal to negative 1 divided by 2x plus 3. As 13 crosses over, it becomes negative 13. And 3 minus 13 is negative 10. Finally, the equation is negative 1 divided by 2x minus 10. So let's find it. Negative 1 divided by 2x minus 10, which is option C. Now let us move on to question number 23. All right, here is question number 23. The question reads, an empty cylindrical tank is 140 centimeter in diameter. If 200 liters of water is poured into the tank, calculate, correct to the nearest centimeter, the height of the water in the tank. All right. We are not looking for the actual height of the tank, rather the water level, right? So let me make a rough sketch here. Suppose we have an empty cylindrical tank like this. Don't mind the drawing. And it happens that we have water level here from bottom to the top as 200 liters. So we're looking for the height from this point down to this point, which is h. And from the question, we are given that the diameter from here to here is what? 140 centimeter, which means that the radius r will be half of this, which is 70. You know, radius is half of diameter. So the next thing we need to find is what? Centimeter cube equivalent of this 200 liters, because we are dealing with centimeter here, but we are given the volume in terms of liters. And you should know that every 1 liter is equivalent to 1000 centimeter cubed. Therefore 200 liters will be equivalent to 200,000 centimeter cubed. So this is the actual volume of the water in centimeter cubed. Okay, and remember the formula we are going to apply is what? The volume is equal to pi r squared h, and we are looking for h, right? So let us substitute everything. You can see that the volume is 200,000 equal to pi. We are given pi as 22 over 7. 22 over 7. Then multiply by r squared, that is 70 times 70. 70 times 70. Then multiplied by h, which we are looking for. So now let us make h the subject. We can divide both sides by 70 times 70. Therefore, h is equal to 200,000 divided by 70 times 70. So we have just get rid of this. Then we need to get rid of 7. And to get rid of 7, you have to multiply both sides by 7. So we multiply the top by 7 and divide the bottom by 22. I hope you got what I've done. So it's just like multiplying both sides by a reciprocal of this if you want to get rid of a fraction to other side. Once it crosses over, it becomes 7 divided by 22. So let me use my calculator and press everything directly. We have 200,000 multiplied by 7. Then we need to divide by 70. We divide by 70 again. Then we divide by 22. This is approximately equal to 12.987 and so on. This is h. But they said we should write it to the nearest centimeter. So if you round this up, you're going to have h to be equal to 13 cm. And let us find it here. We have it as option C. Now let us move on to question number 24. All right, here is question number 24. The question reads, Mrs. Kebe stands a distance of 110 meters away from a building of vertical height 58 meters. If Kebe is 2 meters tall, find the angle of elevation of the top of the building from her eye. Okay, let us form a sketch of this. Suppose we have a horizontal ground like this, and it happens that we have a building situated right here, and the height of this building is 58 meters. So from the top to the bottom is 58. Then we have a girl standing here, which is what, 2 meters tall. So she sighted the top of this building from her eye. Remember, we're going to have a horizontal line. So this is the angle we're looking for. I remember the distance from where she's standing to the vertical wall is 110 meter. So this is 110 meter. So if the height of the building is 58 meter, what will be the height of this point to this point? All you have to do is to subtract her height, which is 2 meter, from this, right? So we have 56. So this is 56 meter. So we have everything we need. To find theta, the relationship between the opposite and adjacent side is tangent. Therefore, tangent of theta is equal to opposite, which is 56, divided by adjacent, which is 110. Then to find theta, you take tan inverse of both sides. Tan inverse of 56 divided by 110. Let me use my calculator. I have approximately 26.98. So this is 26.98098 degrees. And to the nearest whole number, we can write this as 27 degrees. Let us check options. We have it as option B. Now let us move on to question number 25. All right, here is our question number 25. We're asked to find the mean deviation of the set of numbers 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. To find this, first of all, let us find the mean, denoted by x bar, which is equal to summation of xi's divided by n. Summation of xi's, meaning we should add all the numbers together. So we have 14 plus 15 plus 16 plus 17 plus 18 plus 19. Then we stop. We divide by n. N is the number of numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 in number. We divide by 6. So let me use my calculator. 14 plus 15 plus 16 plus 17 plus 18 plus 19. Then we divide by 6. We have 16.5. Therefore, the mean is equal to 16.5. So what about the mean deviation? Mean deviation is equal to summation of the absolute value of x minus x bar divided by n. So we are going to take individual x here. So it will be, the first x we have is 14. So we have 14 minus the mean, which is 16.5, absolute form, plus the next one, 15 minus 16.5 plus 16 minus 16.5 plus 17 minus 16.5 plus 18 minus 16.5, then the last one plus 19 minus 16.5. Then you divide by what? N, and n remain the same, which is equal to 6. So let us evaluate. We have 14 minus 16.5, which is negative 2.5, but in absolute form it will give us what? Positive 2.5. Then we have 15 minus 16.5, which is negative 1.5. In absolute form, we have 1.5. Then we have 16 minus that. In absolute form, it will give us 0.5 plus 17 minus the mean is 0.5. Then we have 18 minus the mean, which is 1.5. And lastly, we have 19 minus the mean, which is 2.5. The whole of this should be divided by 6. Now let us add all the numbers and divide by 6. We have 2.5 plus 1.5 plus 0.5 plus another 0.5 plus 1.5, and lastly 2.5. We have 9 exactly. Divide by 6. And 9 divided by 6 is what? Is equal to 1.5. And hence the mean deviation is 1.5. Let us check it. We have it as option B. All right, here is question number 26. The question reads, the interior angle of a regular polygon is 6 times its exterior angle. We are asked to find the number of sides of that polygon. You should know that a polygon is said to be regular if and only if all its interior angles are equal to one another and all the side lengths are equal. Remember that to find the sum of all the angles in any polygon, all you have to do is to take 180 degrees, you multiply it by n minus 2, where n stands for the number of sides. For example, if you are dealing with a triangle, which you know that the sum of all the angles equal to 180 degrees, and you know that a triangle has 3 sides, so 3 minus 2 is 1, and 1 times 180 is 180 degrees. So what about a regular polygon? If you want to find an individual angle in a polygon that is regular, you know all of them are equal. All you have to do is to divide by n. So this will give us the measure of every single angle in that regular polygon. For example, take for instance an equilateral triangle that has all the interior angles equal to 60 degrees each. So 3 minus 2 is 1 times 180 is 180, divide by 3 is 60. So in case of an equilateral triangle, you can use this, substitute n equal to 3 to get every single angle. So we have just obtained the measure of every single angle in that regular polygon. But it's stated that this is 6 times the exterior angle. All right. The exterior angle of any polygon, if you add all of them together, I mean the sum of all the exterior angles will give you 360 degrees. But in case of a regular which has all the angles equal, you can divide 360 by n to get the measure of every single exterior angle. So mathematically, this is equal to 6 times every single angle which is exterior, that is 360 divided by n. So this is what we need to solve for n, because we are looking for the number of sides, for which n stands for the number of sides. Let's divide both sides by 6. If you do that, 180 divided by 6 will give us 30, right? 30 degrees multiplied by n minus 2 divided by n. This is equal to 360 degrees divided by n. And since the denominators are equal, you equate the numerators. But let me just distribute this. Inside we have 30 times n is 30 degrees n, minus 30 degrees times 2 is 60 degrees, and this is equal to 360 degrees. If you take this one to the other side, it becomes positive. We have 30 degrees n equal to 360 degrees plus 60 degrees, which is going to give us what? 420. So 30 degrees n equal to 420 degrees. Divide both sides by 30, n equal to 420 divided by 30. Zeros will cancel, and 42 divided by 3 is 14, and hence n is equal to 14. So it means that that particular regular polygon has 14 sides. Let's check the option. We have it as option B. So now let us move on to question number 27. All right, here is question number 27. The question reads, the length of the diagonal of a square is 12 cm. We're asked to calculate the area of the square. All right, you know a square has all its side lengths equal. So we have something like this. Roughly, let's assume this is a square. And because all the side lengths are equal, we can declare them with L. So this is L, this is L. And how do we find the area of a square? The area A is equal to what? L squared. This is just the area. So what about diagonal, which is given to us as 12 cm? This is the diagonal, this line right here, and we may have another one here. All these are diagonal lines. But this is what? 12 cm. So first of all, we need to find the side lengths by applying Pythagoras rule, which stated that the hypotenuse squared is equal to the opposite squared plus the adjacent squared, because this is a right angle triangle. So we have L squared plus L squared equal to 12 cm also squared. L squared plus L squared is 2L squared, and this is equal to 144 cm squared. So I've squared 12 to get this, squared cm to get this, right? So we divide both sides by 2. L squared is equal to 144 divided by 2 cm squared, and L squared is equal to 72 cm squared. But remember, we say that the area is L squared, and we have L squared here. Therefore, we can conclude that the area, which is L squared, implies what? The area is equal to 72 cm squared. And hence, this is the area of that square, 72 cm squared, which is what? Option C. Now let us move on to question number 28. All right, here is question number 28. The question reads, consider the statements. You see we are given two statements here, P and Q. P stands for the statement, Saya is from Foya. Q stands for Foya is in Lofa. Write a symbolic form of the statement. If Saya is from Foya, then Foya is in Lofa. This is nothing but if-then statement, because you can see if-then. If-then statement, how does it look like? It looks like something like this. This is what represents if-then statement. And this particular one stands for if and only if statement, right? And this is another if-then statement. So we have two options to choose from. But they said what? If Saya is from Foya, which statement is that? P. So we bring P here. Then Foya is in Lofa. You bring Q here. And hence the right option is A. So now let us move on to question number 29. All right, here is question number 29. The question reads, what is the name of the triangle with vertices 1, -3, 6, 2, and 0, 4? How can we find it? We have available options here. We have isosceles triangle. An isosceles triangle looks like something like this, where this side and this side are equal, and this angle and this angle are also equal. We have an equilateral triangle, which is in this form. All the side lengths are equal. We have a right angle triangle, which contains an angle of 90 degrees. And we have scaling, which is something like this. In a scaling, there is nothing that is equal. All the sides are entirely different, and all the angles are entirely different. So let us find out which type of triangle is this by finding the side lengths. First of all, let us sketch it. Suppose we have a triangle like this. Let us label it as A, B, and C. Then let's assume this is vertex 1 comma negative 3. Then this one 6 comma 2, and lastly 0 comma 4. How do we find distance? Let's find the distance between A down to B. AB will be equal to what? Square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. And you can start from either side. So if I should consider this one as x2 and this should be x1, I have 1 minus 6 all squared. And 1 minus 6 is minus 5. Minus 5 squared is 25. I can write the formula for you as the distance d is equal to the square root of x2 minus x1 whole squared plus y2 minus y1 whole squared. So this is how to find the distance. So you can see that 1 minus 6 is minus 5. And minus 5 squared, meaning minus 5 times minus 5 is 25. Then minus 3 minus 2 is minus 5. Minus 5 squared is also 25. So we have 25 here. 25 plus 25 is 50. So we have square root of 50. Then let us find the other distance. Let me even write it here, square root of 50. Then let us find the distance between B down to C. BC is equal to the square root of, you may start from either side, 6 minus 0 is 6, and 6 squared is 36, plus 2 minus 4 is minus 2, and minus 2 squared is 4. If you simplify this, you have square root of 40. And hence this is what? Square root of 40. Then the other side length, which is AC. AC is equal to the square root of 1 minus 0 is 1. 1 squared is 1. Then plus minus 3 minus 4 is minus 7. Minus 7 squared is 49. So we have 49 here, which is what? Square root of 50. And hence this is what? Square root of 50. So if you observe, this side length and this side length are exactly the same. And once you have opposite side lengths equal, it means that triangle is an isosceles triangle, which is what? Option A. Now let us move on to the last question for today, which is question number 30. All right, here is question number 30. We are given a diagram here, which you can clearly see that we have a cycle here. We have an enclosed triangle that has an extension. So now let us read this question. The question reads, in the diagram above, line NR is a diameter, which means that this is a diameter of a cycle. Angle MNR is x degrees, and angle SRN, this exterior angle of this triangle is 5x plus 20. We're asked to find the value of 2x. Some people will go extra mile in finding x. We're asked to find 2x, not x. Okay. According to the cycle theorem, a diameter always subtends a right angle to the circumference. So end-to-end points of a diameter always form a right angle to the circumference. So this is the extension, right, from end to end of our diameter. And therefore, this angle formed must be 90 degrees according to the cycle theorem. So this is 90 degrees. And if you observe, this is what? An exterior angle of a triangle, which is always equal to the sum of the interior opposite angles. So this is 90 degrees plus x. It will give us exactly this angle according to one of the properties of a triangle. So therefore, 5x plus 20 must be equal to 90 plus x. 5x plus 20 must be equal to 90 plus x. So by collecting the like terms, we have 5x. If this crosses over, it becomes negative, equal to 90 degrees. If this crosses over, it becomes negative as well. So 5x minus x is 4x, and this is equal to 70 degrees. Remember, we are looking for 2x, not x, so we can divide both sides by 2. Therefore, this is 2x equal to 35 degrees. And hence 2x is equal to 35 degrees, which is option B. All right, question number 31 reads, find the value of alpha in the equation cos of alpha plus 14 degrees is equal to sine of 4 alpha plus 6 degrees. I would like to remind you something. If you have a right angle triangle, you know this angle is 90. Suppose this is x, or let me call it alpha, and this is beta. You should know that alpha plus beta is always equal to 90 degrees. They are complementary angles. Therefore, in a right angle triangle, sine of alpha is always equal to cosine of beta. This is true because alpha plus beta is equal to 90 degrees. Therefore, this is also possible if this plus this will give us 90 degrees. Therefore, we can take the input, add them together, and set them to be equal to 90. Therefore, alpha plus 14, then plus 4 alpha plus 6 must be equal to 90. We have 5 alpha here. Then this and this will give us 20 plus 20. This is 90. If you subtract 20 from both sides, you have 5 alpha equal to 90 minus 20, which is 70. And alpha is equal to 70 divided by 5. And alpha is equal to 14. And hence, alpha is equal to 14, which is option A. Now let us move on to question number 32. All right, here we have question number 32, which is under probability. A bag contains 4 white marbles and 3 blue marbles. Another bag, meaning we have 2 different bags. Another bag contains 5 red and 6 blue marbles. If a marble is picked at random from each bag, find the probability that they are of the same color. Okay, let me draw 2 different bags here. Let's assume we have the first bag and we have the second bag here. The first bag contains 4 white marbles, so let me say 4 white and what? 3 blue. We have 3 blue marbles, while the second one contains what? 5 red and 6 blue. So now let us find the probability separately, then we pick those that are the same, right? From the first marble, if we want to find the probability of picking white, probability of white, this is equal to 4 divided by 7. 4 divided by the total, so we have 4 over 7. But do we have any probability of picking a white here? Probability of white? No. So this is 0 out of 11, the total number of marbles. Then again, we can choose blue. Probability of picking blue here. This is 3 out of 7. Do we have probability of picking blue here? Yes, this is equal to 6 out of 11. Then the last one, which is red. Probability of picking red here is 0 out of 7 because we don't have any red marble here. But from the other bag, we have probability of picking red to be 5 out of 11. But remember, we are looking for the same color. So these are the same color. These are also the same color, and likewise this one. So how do we combine them? We're going to take the sum of the product, multiply this, add to the product of this, add to the product of this. So we have the probability to be 4 over 7 multiplied by 0 over 11. That is for the first combination. Then you add 3 over 7 multiplied by 6 over 11. You add 0 over 7 multiplied by 5 over 11. You can see that this and this will give us 0. The only thing we have here is 3 times 6, 18. 7 times 11, 77. And hence, this is the probability of picking same color. Let me call it SC, which is 18 divided by 11. Do we have that? 18 divided by 77. We have it as option B. Now let us move on to question number 33. Question number 33 reads, the angle of a sector of a cycle of radius 3.4 cm is 115 degrees. Find the area of that sector. How do sector looks like? This is a sector which is just a portion of a cycle. It sustains an angle of 115 degrees with a radius of 3.4 cm. Okay, what is the area? Remember, area of a cycle is given as what? Pi r squared. But since this is a portion of a cycle, you have to take that angle subtended by that sector out of the total angle of a cycle, which is 360 degrees. And hence we have an area of a sector. Now let us substitute everything here. The angle subtended is 115 degrees multiplied by pi. They say we should use pi as 22 divided by 7. So you can write 22 to the top and write 7 to the bottom. Remember, our radius is 3.4 squared because this is r squared, right? So we divide by 360 degrees multiply by that 7 because we have 22 divided by 7, right? So we simplify and obtain the area of that sector. Let me use my calculator, multiply everything directly. So we have 115 multiplied by 22 multiplied by 3.4 squared. The whole of this divide by 360 times 7. And I have the area to be equal to 11.60555 recording. This is equal to 11.6. Is this centimeter? Centimeter squared. 11.6 centimeters squared, which is option B. Now let us take question number 34. All right, question number 34 reads, the diagonals of rhombus are 16 cm and 12 cm. We are asked to find the length of the side. You know, a rhombus has all its sides equal because it is a compressed square. So we have a rhombus like this. It is a compressed square. Remember, this is why one of the diagonals is bigger than the other. So we have a diagonal line here and we have another diagonal line here. Okay, they say one of the diagonals is 16. So let's assume this is the longest diagonal. 16, since it has been partitioned, you know, the diagonals meet at a right angle. So this should be 8 and this should also be 8 because we have a total length of 16. And the other one that is 12 will be 6 and 6, right? So we're looking for the side lengths. They are all equal. So we can take one of the right angles. Let's take this one, meaning the L will be our hypotenuse. So we have L squared to be equal to 8 squared plus 6 squared according to Pythagoras rule. So L will be equal to 8 squared is 64. 6 squared is 36. If you add them together, you have what? 100. And since we are looking for L, you take square root of both sides. You don't have to attach plus or minus because we are dealing with length. All lengths are positive, and hence L is equal to 10. What is the unit? cm, right? Centimeter. So L is what? 10 centimeters, which is option B. Now let us take the last question for today, which is 35. The question reads, the angle of elevation to the top of a vertical building from a point Z on a ground is 50 degrees. If the height of the building is 124 meters, find the distance from Z to the foot of the building. Okay, let's assume we have a horizontal ground like this, and it happens we have a vertical building. Let's call this F, that is the foot of the building, and we have a point Z, and angle to the top of this building is what? 50 degrees, and the length of this vertical building is 124 meter. Remember, this is a right angled, so we are looking for the distance from Z to this point. So let me call it X. So what is the relationship between this adjacent side and the opposite side? Is tangent, right? So we can take tangent of 50 degrees to be equal to opposite divided by the adjacent. So you can switch X and tan 50 degrees so that X will be equal to 124 divided by tangent of 50 degrees. Let me use my calculator. 124 divided by tangent of 50 degrees. I have this to be equal to 104.04835 and so on. But what did they say? Okay, they round it to 2 decimal places. So to 2 decimal places, we have this to be approximately 104.05 meter. So this is the distance from the foot of the building to down to Z, right? We have it as option A. All right, here is question number 36. The question reads, a student measured the height of a pole at 5.98 meter, which is less than the actual height. If the percentage error is 5%, find correct to 2 decimal places the actual height of the pole. Okay, I would like to declare the height, the original or the actual height with X. The formula remains the absolute measure divided by the actual measure multiplied by 100%. So we have percentage error to be equal to the absolute measure. Absolute measure is nothing but the difference between the original height and the estimated height. But according to this question, the actual height is greater than the estimated height, or the wrong measure. So we can say that X minus 5.98, this is the absolute measure because we want it positive, divided by the actual measure, which is still X, multiplied by 100%. Oh, I should have written this one directly, but no problem, which is 5%, right? So this is 5%. Percentage error is 5%. We are dealing with objective questions, so we don't have to show everything. So we can divide both sides by 5%, divide this by 5%, divide this by 5%. To the left hand side, we have 1. And that 1 can be multiplied by X if you cross multiply, right? So X times 1 is X. This is equal to X minus 5.98 multiplied by 20, because 100% divided by 5% is 20. Then you can expand this. X equal to X times 20 is 20x minus 5.98 times 20 is 119.6. So we make X the subject. 20x minus X is equal to 119.6. So this is 19x equal to 119.6. Divide both sides by 19. 119.6 divided by 19. And X equal to 2 decimal places, we have 6.29. Is it meters? Yeah, 6.29, which we have as option C. All right, now let us move on to question number 37. So here is question number 37, which is related to cycle theorem. In the diagram, O is the center of the cycle QRS. So this is a cycle QRS, and we have the center O. Angle SQR, SQR is 28 degrees, we are asked to find angle ORS. So we are looking for this particular angle. Let me call it X. Okay, what you should know about this relationship between this triangle and the major triangle, you can see we have a chord here, and the same chord subtend two angles, one at the center and the other one at the circumference. So according to the circle theorem, angle subtended to the center is twice the angle subtended to the circumference, even only if they are all subtended from the same chord. So angle SOR is twice which angle? Angle SQR, and angle SQR is 28. So therefore angle SOR is equal to 2 times 28, which is 56, right? This is 56 degrees. All right, if this angle here is 56, remember that the triangle formed from that chord to the center of the circle must always be an isosceles triangle. An isosceles triangle has all its base angle to be equal. Therefore, if this one is X, this will definitely be X, right? And the sum of all the angles in a triangle is equal to what? 180. Therefore, X plus 56 will give us 180. And remember, we are looking for X. Therefore, X plus 56 is equal to 180. 2x is equal to 180 degrees minus 56. If you take 56 to the other side, and 2x is equal to 124. And if you divide both sides by 2, x will be equal to 124 divided by 2, which is 62 degrees. And hence, x is equal to 62 degrees, which we have as option B. This is question number 37. Let us move on to question number 38. All right, here is question number 38, which is related to compass bearing. John was facing south 35 degrees east. If he turned 90 degrees in an anti-clockwise direction, find his new direction. First of all, let us draw the cardinal points. We have this. This is north. This is south, this is east, this is west. And you should know that all angles must either be measured from the north or from the south. So this particular direction is measured from the south towards the east. So roughly we have south to east. This particular angle here is what is given to us from the question, which is 35 degrees. And this is the position of Mr. John. So the question says, what if John decided to move towards this direction 90 degrees? What you should know is that from this point to this point is 90 degrees. If that is the case, we know that this angle must be 55 to make it 90, right? All right. So 55 plus what will give us 90 again? We need 35 extra. So in the first quadrant here, we have 35 degrees. So this is the new position. Remember I told you all angles must be either measured from the north or the south. So we have to measure from the north towards this point. So what will be this angle? If this is 35, this must be 55 because the total angle there is 90. So this is 55 degrees. So the direction will be north, heading to the east, 55 degrees. So this is the answer to this problem, not 55 degrees east, which is option A. Question number 39. We are given a system of equation here, 2x minus 3y equal to negative 11, and then 3x plus 2y equal to 3. We are asked to evaluate y minus x whole squared. So the first equation given is 2x minus 3y, this is equal to negative 11. 3x plus 2y equals 3. We can multiply equation number 1 by 3. Let's do that. We can multiply the second equation by 2 so that we can eliminate x. So from the first equation, this will yield to what? 3 times 2x is 6x minus 3y times 3 is 9y equal to negative 11 times 3 is negative 33. Then from the second equation, we have 2 times 3 6 plus 2 times 2 4 equal to 3 times 2 6. So what do? We subtract. 6x minus 6x is 0. Then negative 9y minus 4y will give us negative 13y, negative 13y, and this is equal to this minus this will give us negative 39. If you divide both sides by negative 13, y will be equal to positive 3. And we can plug this y into this equation, which is 3x plus 2y equal to 3. 3x plus 2y equal to 3, right? Yeah. But y is 3, so we have 3x plus 2 times 3 is 6 equal to 3. 3x equal to 3 minus 6, and 3x equal to negative 3. Divide both sides by 3, x will be negative 1. But what are we looking for? We are looking for y minus x whole squared. Y is 3 minus x is negative 1 whole squared. This is 3 minus minus is plus. We have 4 squared, which is 16, right? So we have the right answer to be 16, which is option C. And the last question for the day, which is question number 40. All right, question number 40 reads, an equilateral triangle has side 2 cm. You know, all the sides are equal. We asked to calculate the height of that triangle. All right, let us sketch it, something like this. Okay, if this is 2, this is 2, this must be 2. We are looking for the height. So let's call it h. So if you partition this side, you're going to have 1, 1 each. So let me remove this 2 and replace it with 1 and 1, make it 2. So we can use either of the right angle triangles. Let's use this one. According to the Pythagoras, hypotenuse squared, which is 2 squared, is equal to the opposite squared, which is h squared, plus adjacent squared, which is 1 squared. This is 4 equal to h squared plus 1. H squared is equal to 4 minus 1. H squared equal to 3. Take square root of both sides. You have h equal to the square root of 3. You don't have to add plus or minus because we are dealing with a length, and all lengths are positive. And hence the height of this triangle is square root of 3, which we have as option A, though I didn't include unit cm. And question 41 reads, a number is selected at random from 40 to 50 inclusive. Find the probability that the number is prime. First of all, we are going to list the numbers. So the set of the numbers will be 40. Because they say inclusive, you have to include 40 and 50. 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, and 50. So they said we should find the probability that the number selected at random is prime. And what is a prime number? A prime number is a number that has only 2 factors, 1 and itself. So the number can only be divisible by 1 and itself. So if you look carefully, we have 41, 43, and 47. These are the only prime numbers here. So there are 3 in numbers. So how many numbers do we have altogether? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So the probability will be 3 out of 11, right? So we have the answer to be 3 out of 11 as the final answer. So you can see that here as option A. Now let us move on to question number 42. We are given a graph here, which is a bar chart that contains some marks with their corresponding frequencies. They say that the bar chart represents a distribution of marks scored by students in economic examination. Use the bar chart to answer questions 42 down to 44. Okay, question number 42 reads, if the failed mark was 4, what is the probability that a student selected at random passed? Okay, let's find where we have 4. This is the fail mark. So if 4 is a failed score, definitely 1, 2, 3 must be a failed score as well, because 4 is even greater than 3, 2, and 1. So the only pass scores are 5, 6, 7, and 8. But first of all, we need to find the total frequency. You can clearly see that those that scored 1 mark, they are 3 in number, because you can see this is where it stops, which is 3. So this is 3. And the number of students that scores 2 marks are 6 in number. You can see the corresponding frequency. The number of students that scored 3 marks are 9 in number. We have 4, which are just 1 person. 5 is 12. 6, we have them as 7. You can see that here. So we have 7 here. Then those that score 7 marks, they are 5 in number. And lastly, those that scored 8 marks, they are 10 in number. So now let me use my calculator and add all of these frequencies in order to obtain the total number of students. So we have 53 students. 53 students. So to find the probability of first score, we are going to add this and divide by 53. So if we add all of these numbers together, we are going to obtain 34. So these are just 34 in number. And hence the probability will be what? 34 out of 53. So we say that the probability will be 34 out of 53. Remember, we are dealing with objective questions, so you don't have to show everything. So just take your calculator, 34 divided by 53, which is 0.6415 and so on. But you can see this is to 2 decimal places. So we are going to discuss 2 values, which is equivalent to 0.64, which is option A. Question number 43 reads, what is the percentage of the student that scored at most 5? At most 5. What does that mean? The highest a student can score is 5 and downward. So a student could score 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So we need to find the number of students that scored marks between this range, 1 to 5, thereby adding all these numbers together. So they are 31 in number. So you say that this is 31 out of the total number of students, which is what, 53. But remember, you are dealing with percentage, you multiply by 100. 31 divided by 53, then multiplied by 100, which is equivalent to 58.49%, right? But this is to 1 decimal place, so if you round this up, it is going to be 0.5. You round 4 up. So we have 0.5%, which is what, option B. And the last question here, how many students scored at least 3? If they say at least, so a student can score 3 or any other value greater than 3. So let's add them all together. So the numbers we need to add are 9 down to 10. We have 44 altogether, and hence the right option here is C. Now let us move on to the last question, which is 45 for today. So here is question number 45. We are given that if log of 3 with the base of a equal to m, and log of 5 with the base of a is equal to p. We are asked to find log of 75 with the base e. What I have observed is if I multiply 5 by 5, I'm going to get 25. And 25 times 3 is equal to 75. So I can write this as log of 3 base a plus log of 5 base a plus log of another 5 with the base e. Because according to one of the laws of logarithm, if you have addition between common logs of equal bases, you can always multiply the argument. So we can take log to base a, then we multiply the argument 3 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 5 again, which I believe this is 75, right? So this is equal to log of 75 with the base of e. So if this is the case, what is log of 3? Log of 3 is nothing but m from here, and log of 5 is nothing but p. But we have two logs of 5. So this is equal to m plus p, which is equal to m plus 2p. And hence, our answer is m plus 2p, which we have as option C. It's under cycle theorem. Here is the question. In the diagram above, M and R are points on the cycle centered O. Angle ORN is 48. You can see that here. And the angle RNM is 124 degrees. You can also see that here. We're asked to find angle OMN. OMN. Let me mark it. And let's call it X. All right. According to cycle theorem, angle subtended to the center is twice the angle subtended to the circumference if and only if they are all being produced from the same arc. So this particular angle here is twice this one. So let's find it. So the reflex angle, let me call it reflex. The reflex angle MON is equal to 2 multiplied by 124 degrees, which is equal to 248 degrees, which means that this particular angle is 248. Let me just write it. 248. So what about this angle? Remember, angle at the center is equal to 360. For you to find this particular angle, we're going to subtract 248 from 360. So therefore, 360 minus 248 is equal to 112. This particular angle here is 112. And this is a quadrilateral, and you should know that the sum of all angles in a quadrilateral equals to 360 degrees. And hence, we are going to add all of them together, or rather subtract these three angles from 360 in order to get the other angle. X is equal to 360 degrees minus 124 minus 112 and minus 48. So let's compute. 360 degrees minus 124 minus 112 minus 48, which is equal to 76. And hence, this particular angle we're looking for is nothing but 76 degrees. Let's find it here. And we have it as option A. Now let us move on to question number 47. Remember, I told you we're dealing with objective questions. You don't have to show everything. Question number 47, we're asked to simplify 3 root 12 plus 10 root 3 minus 6 divided by root 3. Let us start by simplifying this. This is the same thing. Let me even write it here. 3 root 12 is the same thing as 3 multiplied by root of 4 times 3, which is equal to 3 multiplied by root of 4 multiplied by root of 3. And this is 3 multiplied by root of 4 is 2, then times root of 3. This is equal to 6 root of 3. So it means that the whole of this is equal to 6 root of 3. So let's combine them together. We have 6 root of 3 plus 10 root of 30 minus 6 divided by root of 30. Together here we have 16 root of 30, then minus 6 divided by root of 30. To simplify this, we can take this and multiply by this. So it will give us 16 root of 30 squared. Then we subtract 6 to the top and divide by root of 30. This is equal to 16 times 30 multiplied by 30, then minus 6. The whole of this divided by root of 30. And this is equal to, we have 16 times 3, which is equal to 48, minus 6 is 42. So we have 42 divided by root of 30. Then next, we need to rationalize the denominator by multiplying the top and the bottom by root 30. So to the top, we have 42 root of 30 divided by 30, because root 30 times root 30 is root 3 squared, which is 30. And you should know that 3 can divide 42 14 times. So we have 14 root of 30 as our final answer, which is what? Option A. Let us move on to question number 48. Question number 48 reads, the truth set of 8 plus 2x minus x squared equal to 0 is p, q. So we have two values, and you should expect two values as always. Whenever you solve a quadratic equation, you should expect two solutions. We are asked to evaluate p plus q. P and q are nothing but the roots of the equation. Let us find them. So if we have 8 plus 2x minus x squared equal to 0, let us multiply every single time by negative sign. Negative 8, negative 2x, then plus x squared. Now all of this equal to 0. Think of two numbers you can multiply together to get negative 8, but when you add them together, you get negative 2. The numbers are negative 4 and positive 2. So we have x minus 4 multiplied by x plus 2 equal to 0. If you solve each factor here, x could either be 4 or x equal to negative 2 by setting each factor to be equal to 0. You may decide to choose this one as p and this one as q, and vice versa. So if p is equal to 4 and q is equal to negative 2, we are looking for p plus q, which is equal to what? 4 plus minus 2, which is minus 2. And hence this will give us what? 2. Our answer is 2, which is option C. Now let us move on to question number 49. Question number 49, we are asked to find the gradient of the line passing through these 2 points. Let us declare this with x1. This should be y1, x2, y2. The gradient m is equal to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Let's simplify. M equal to y2 is 2 divided by 30, 2 divided by 30, minus y1, which is negative 1 divided by 30, which is going to transform it to positive. And the whole of this should be divided by x2, which is 30, minus x1, which is 1 divided by 2. So to the top, since we have common denominators, we can add the numerators. We have 2 plus 1 is 30 divided by 30 is 1. So to the top, we have 1. To the bottom, we can take this and multiply by this. That will give us 6. Then 6 minus 1 is 5. Then we have 5 divided by 2. This is just a reciprocal, which is 2 divided by 5. 2 divided by 5 is our final answer, which is option D. Now, question 50, which is the last one. All right, here is question number 50. The question reads, for what values of x is the whole of this expression said to be undefined? You should know that a rational expression is only undefined if the denominator is equal to 0, and hence it is only when 10x squared minus 13x minus 3 is equal to 0, because we don't want it to be equal to 0. Hence, the system will be undefined. So we want to find those values that will make it undefined. So we can solve this by factorization. First of all, we take 10, which is the leading coefficient. We multiply by the constant term. This will give us negative 30. All right. Having obtained the negative 30, we're going to think of two numbers we can multiply to get negative 30. But when we add them together, we get negative 13. And the two numbers are negative 15 and positive 2. So we have x minus 15. But you have to divide by the leading coefficient because it is not equal to 1. Then multiply by x plus 2. Also divide by the leading coefficient. This is equal to 0. What do we have here in common? 5 can divide, right? So we have 3 divided by 2. So x minus 3 divided by 2 equal to 0, or x plus, this is 1 divided by 5, right? 1 divided by 5 equal to 0. So from this one, if you take negative 3 over 2 to the other side, it becomes positive. X equal to 3 divided by 2. Or taking this one to the other side, it becomes negative. X equal to negative 1 divided by 5. Therefore, the two solutions are 3 over 2 and negative 1 over 5. Where do we have them? We have them as option C. Thank you for watching. Do share to your learning colleagues and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more exciting videos. Bye-bye.